Hi, Gail.
Hi, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing so good. This is such an exciting event.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far, and I'm glad to show off a game that I actually learned to speedrun that I learned from a couple friends of mine, one of whom is joining me as our commentator today, and that is my good friend Scala Kitty.
How y'all
And
doing?
there's Scala. Hi, Scala.
Hi, me.
So I'm gonna let Scala do most of the commentating for the run, but basically this is a 1990 LucasArts game. So if you ever played like Secret of Monkey Island or some of those games, it's kind of like a point-and-click adventure. And Loom was supposed to be the first game in a trilogy that was unfortunately never completed. So I think not as many people know about it, but it's a really fun game and a really fun speedrun, and I'm very excited to show it off for everybody today.
It's a fantastic little game. I hope y'all will enjoy it.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here once I get prompted to choose my skill level again.
Please choose your skill level.
All right, so I will get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to the
Now, there is one thing that we have to do at the start of any marathon run of Loom. And chat, I need you all to wish Bobbin, our hero here, a happy birthday. Oh, I see some people in chat already getting on it. Thank y'all.
Happy birthday, Bobbin.
Happy birthday, Bobbin.
So, Scala, what kind of birthday do you think Bobbin's going to have today?
Unfortunately for poor Bobbin, he basically has the worst birthday ever. And that is actually one of the things I find very interesting about Loom, is if you're actually paying attention, this game takes place over the course of 24 hours. It takes place all entirely on Bobbin's birthday.
Oh my gosh,
And-
Bobbin, where are you going?
Oh, is Bobbin doing his thing where he just doesn't want to listen sometimes?
He is. I think I'm a little excited. I'm over-clicking because I'm really excited. This is the first time I've run this game in a marathon.
It's fantastic. It's a really great game. It's a really fun speedrun. But I'll give a little quick. I will give the lore updates as we kind of come to them. Anyway, at the start of the game, Bobbin has been essentially called to the principal's office. He's been called to the Elder Weavers because they are currently very upset because Bobbin has started to learn how to weave. This game is set in what we call the Age of the Great Guilds. Basically, everyone is so good at crafting that crafting is basically magic now. So there was a big, giant fight between the elders and Bobbin's adoptive grandma, Hetchel. Everyone became swans, and we are now off to seek a way off the island and rejoin with all of the other weavers that are now swans. It makes total sense. Don't worry about it.
There's unfortunately a lot of the story that happens in this game during cutscenes, almost all of which I'm going to be skipping. But
Yeah.
Scala knows all the lore and all of the details about this, and I know she is going to do a great job filling in those gaps for everyone.
I will do my bestest at it. So now our job is to leave Loom Island, which actually has one of the harder puzzles. Like when you're first learning this game, when you're first playing it casually, it's definitely this sort of puzzle of like, how do I actually leave the island? But because we're speedrunning it, we know all the things we have to do. So the very first thing we're going to do is sort of what was the hard puzzle to work out casually, which is we are going to go and open the sky. Basically, we're going to create a thunderstorm that's going to knock down a tree, and then that tree is going to become our tree boat with which we will leave the island.
Tree boat, tree boat.
Tree boat! And we were actually talking... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you want to kind of explain the concept of the game's core
Yes.
mechanic, which is these drafts that I'm
I
playing?
was just about to do that. So, Loom plays a little differently than a bunch of other point-and-click adventure games. We don't verb any nouns. We don't have an inventory with which we combine items. Instead, we have what we call drafts, or spells. Basically, each draft is played with a 4-note song. The first song that we learn, and is always the same in every run of Loom, is Open, which is E, C, E, D. And then over the course of the game, we're going to learn other drafts. Some of these drafts we have to actively listen to. Some of them, so long as the game thinks that we have watched the cutscene, even if we skipped it, will be counted as learned. We can only play a draft after Bobbin has learned it.
One way I like to think about it is if you ever played Skyrim, it's kind of like the words of power that the dragons use, and then you sort of learn their magic.
Let's see.
So I need to focus here because I'm going to learn which of the 4 draft lists I am on.
Another owl.
And I don't know which one because this is the one where it's 2 possibilities. So I know, Scala, you did a lot of work on this. So do you want to kind of explain that?
Yeah, so this was work I did in conjunction with Lore Master Motos, who is a dear friend. Basically, he worked out all 4 of the different the different draft lists that we could have, and then I went in and I created a guide that lets you basically pull up a completed draft list. Basically, every time you run this game, you get assigned one of 4 draft lists. It's going to be different every time you load up a new game. And then by the time you learn at least the first 3 songs, you know exactly which list you're on. So right now, Blaze is either on list 1 or list 4. So as soon as he goes ahead and learns from the spinning wheel. Okay.
I am on list 4.
Okay. I'll go ahead and also have that pulled up. And really...
And I played the song the wrong direction, but that's okay. Go ahead.
That's okay. So, yeah, we'll talk about... Oh, actually, we'll talk about the directions.
That was a good demonstration, actually.
So certain songs can be played either forwards or backwards. So basically swapping which direction you cast the spell. This allows you to basically cast 2 spells. So, for example, in the room that Blaze was just in, you can learn the draft for straw to gold. You can also then play it backwards to turn gold into straw. And that's one that will come up. Yeah, exactly, for the people who are recognizing its similarity to Ocarina of Time. That is totally the right sort of vibe you're going for. Oh, gotta be careful. It's the soft lock room. Whew. You play that a lot tighter than I do.
I also like to live dangerously.
Yeah, I am very
Actually,
cautious in that. Yes.
I forgot that you can soft lock in that room, so...
Yeah, basically there is a soft lock in that room. If you exit the room before Bobbin learns the F note, your game soft locks, and you have to start all the way over. But anyway, we have done it. We have learned all the drafts we need to learn on this island, and then we unlock the F note. Basically, we will learn notes as we go, and that's how Loom gates progress. So we get to finally leave the island, and there's this giant water spout here.
Whatever shall we do?
Well, basically whatever you need to do in Loom is just gotta listen to the thing.
I think that's close enough.
And then you can play the song backwards, because the water spout teaches you the twist draft, and we play it backwards, and that untwists the water spout. And we'll be using both twist and untwist later on.
One of the things that I really like about this game as a puzzle game is it teaches you these songs or these words, and then later on you have to figure out how to apply them to puzzles where maybe it doesn't seem as obvious that you need to use them.
Yeah, if you actually had the physical game back in the day, it came with the Book of Patterns, which is this really actually fantastic feelie. that allowed you to write out what each one of the songs were as you learned them. So it kind of gave you some hints as to what you were going to expect. The one thing that actually is very interesting about the Book of Patterns is it actually has drafts that you don't learn in the game to kind of throw you off as to which ones are actually viable spells and which ones aren't, which I thought was super cool. The amount of extra stuff that exists for this game is super cool. There's also an entire half-hour long audio drama that exists that basically explains the background plot of the game. Explaining why Bobbin is the Loom child and what happened to his mom, Signa, and why Bobbin is forbidden to learn the art of weaving. It's actually pretty cool, and you can basically listen to it in the time it takes to do the speed run. One of the other really interesting things about Loom, while we're kind of doing some quick little story things. Oh, I'm going to wait and see if Blaze gets the cutscene skip.
Not so.
Yay! You didn't accidentally turn around like I do have a tendency to do and get the weird graphical glitch.
Yeah, there's a couple weird glitches that happen during the speedrun just because you're playing the game a lot faster than it sort of can keep up with.
Yeah, we'll probably get the audio glitch on the two Gossip Bros up here.
These two NPCs are my favorite in the game, by the way.
I love them. They're so
These two
good.
old queens. I can say that, right?
I ship it. But anyway, one of the really interesting things about Loom, and I'll sort of tell that during our mandatory cutscene, this is one of the few cutscenes we can't skip, which is learning the terror draft. Loom is actually one of the very first games to feature full voice acting. So you have to remember, this game came out in 1991 with the voice acting. Unfortunately, what it does mean is that in the what we call the talkie version of the game, we don't get any of the music. It's sort of our sacrifice.
You can have one or the other. You can't have both.
Unfortunately, also the non-voiced versions also have slightly different cutscenes, where the dialogue is a bit longer, and also they have these special graphical cut-ins. Oh, there it is. There's the little audio glitch we tend to get where the lines repeat during that cutscene.
Yep. Yeah,
this game also, as people are noting in chat, is also gorgeous for the time period. The VGA version is beautiful, I find. Especially here, I love the city of the glass blowers. I think it's gorgeous. Also, shouts to the puzzle in the back with the different hourglasses that never got included in the final game.
But yeah, to me, I love this game because this is the kind of game, at least for PC games, that I played as a kid, mostly on my older brother's PC, actually. But this Monkey Island, some of the Sierra games that were out around then, those are my first PC games that I ever played. So.
My introduction to point-and-click adventure games was actually the Discworld ones, because I liked the books, and I didn't realize that it was one of those really weird logic-y inventory combining ones, so I never got very far. I should actually probably go back and revisit it. The reason why I actually played this game here, I don't mind. We have a nice little field to walk across. My partner Oren actually was the one who recommended this game to me because it was something that they had enjoyed playing growing up. So when it got released on Steam, they're like, "Oh, you should check this game out. It's super cheap. It's also really fun, and you'd probably enjoy it." I'm like, "Oh, cool," because usually they have good opinions on games. So
yeah, we got a little more walking and another cutscene coming up here. So
yeah.
If we have one donation, we could read that right now.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
We actually have two, but the first one was from Hotbot for $20, saying 20 pizza dollars for the Pizza Wolf running for a good cause.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Thank you, Hotbot.
We can get in another real quick.
Yeah.
And from some guy named Ferric, we have $20, and he says, there once was a game called Loom that was played by a furry named Moon. He went very fast, did his musics on blast, and finished with a big old "Awoo!"
Oh my god. I had nothing to do with that, Ferric. Oh, wow.
I wish I were better with him.
Also, shoutouts to Fleece. She's one of my favorite characters in this game.
She was supposed to be one of the other main characters in the trilogy, if I remember right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was going to be, I believe it is, the second game was going to be about Rusty, who we'll meet in a bit, and then the third game was going to be about Fleece.
So I do need to warn everybody, there is a very famous silly sound effect that we have coming up here.
It is time for screaming in Loom, and we will let you know when the screams will happen, because they're going to happen a couple of times, but here's the first set of screams.
Feel free to scream along in chat. It is affectionately known as the Bobbin Scream.
Yes.
Well, what have we here? Oh, that's
Also,
Also-
best NPC in the game right here.
Yes. Yeah, I do love the dragon. She's so good.
Why, you'd hardly make it.
I will say, if you're playing this game casually, like, just keep talking to the dragon. She has, like, so much more dialogue than we get to hear in the speedrun, and it's all fantastic and hilarious.
So she's not going to take this too well.
Yeah.
Put it back the way you found it. Now.
Yeah, she is very understandably upset about what we just did to her dragon horde.
If you haven't figured it out yet, you should be starting to get the sense that Weaver magic is extremely powerful.
Yeah, it's actually, I think the exact sort of... Oh wait, I love this line.
You haven't heard the last of me, you cheeky brat.
I love that she calls Bobbin a cheeky brat, because it's the most accurate description of Bobbin in the entire game. Anyway, so we got to make our way through the caves, which is very annoying when you are first learning this game. I'll give you the secret. The first time you come to a fork, you take the first door. The second time you come to a fork, you take the second door, and then you just kind of go straight from there. And
also try not to click outside of the moving box while you are also moving, which is just incredibly tricky to do.
Yeah, you can only kind of click as far as you can see. Bobbin, no!
Yeah, so, a lot of games have movement tech. This game also has movement tech, and it just involves, like, progressively clicking along this passageway so that Bobbin continues to move forward and not backwards.
I often say that the relationship between Bobbin and the runner is one that is mildly antagonistic.
He just doesn't listen.
Well, yeah, that's what I sort of joke. I'm like, Bobbin's basically a cat that we're trying to herd through this game.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, if I do get another cat, and if it's a male cat, I will be sorely tempted to name the cat Bobbin.
I think that is very appropriate.
I mean, it would either be Bobbin or Alphador. That's it. Those are like the two names I have to go for if I got another cat.
Oh gosh.
Because they would both be excellent cat names. We do have one
then you
more
could make
scream.
I forgot about that scream.
Oh, let's see. Did you get it good? You good?
Am I?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
So long
I didn't
as
hear
you
the note, but
no, you don't have to hear the note. You're good.
oh yeah.
So, basically, here I'll explain the reflection spell skip. Basically, so long as you see the drop of waterfall, you're good. The game has counted you as seeing that cutscene. So you actually don't want to hear the note. So you actually save time there. So yay. Also, if you misclick on this puzzle, you get one of my favorite sassy Bobbin lines, which is just, repair costs are spiraling. It's like, Bobbin, please.
He does have so much sass.
Yeah, I have to admit, I like that in the older point-and-click adventure games. I like the fact that the hero and the player are two separate entities, and there is this level of sassiness that kind of goes on between both of you. I don't know. I think it's cool from a meta perspective. Anyway, this is Rusty. Rusty does not make good life choices. So we're going to wake Rusty up. And we usually do the reflect spell for that one. Just because we're going to have to cast it again anyway. So there was a whole big cutscene we skipped over. And now we're going to put on our best Rusty cosplay. So that way we can go into the forge.
Unfortunately for Rusty, he is also going to do Bob and Threadbare cosplay, which is not going to work out very good for him.
Yep. It's like one of those things where it's like the day before the con, and you're like frantically hot gluing your cosplay together. It's that kind of cosplay for that Rusty is now wearing for his Bobbin cosplay. Actually, cosplaying Bobbin would be really fun.
Yeah.
It'd probably be super cozy. You're just like, you just get to wear like a nice gray robe.
I know some pretty cozy cosplay options that I know some of the folks watching in Gale are pretty familiar with as well.
I exclusively do cozy cosplay, but that was because usually when I was at a con, I would also be working Artist Alley, so I couldn't do anything too elaborate.
I gotcha.
My favorite ones being doing like a very sort of basic human Mabel from Animal Crossing, or Cooking Mama was another fun one to do.
This would probably be a good time for maybe one more donation before we get to a required cutscene that's coming up after this.
None to talk about at the moment, so if you guys are interested, don't forget that you can use !donate to get the link, and we have polls and incentives for you to donate towards, so please check.
I know both Blaze and I are very excited for the free enterprise donation incentives, which will be later tonight, but I'm going to let this conversation play.
There it goes. Gosh.
There we go.
Blade is even now in the hands of our most skilled blade shaper, Your Excellency. How's it coming there, Edgewise?
I'm just putting the edge on the last sword, sir.
Good to hear it. No slacking off now. Let's get it finished.
You share with me a historic moment, Foreman. The forging of the 10,000th sword marks the end of our preparations. How much longer must I wait?
The steel will ring out its final defeat, sir. Not much longer now.
Very good then. Carry on.
In case you can't tell, by the way, the guy in the green villain getup is a villain.
Also, shoutouts to what I consider to be the most stressful cast in the entire game. So we just twisted the sword there. Everyone's just like, oh no, Weaver magic! Bobbin is then kidnapped, thrown in this cage, which we're now going to open. I'm basically doing the Spark Notes version of what's happening with the plot. Bishop Mandible steals the distaff. We then look at that orb. Cobb gets real mad at us. Cobb then asks to see Bobbin's face. Somehow that dissolves. Cobb, don't worry about it. The bishop has then summoned a great and terrible evil unto the land. She has killed him. We're now getting chased by a dragon, and then we're going to fall into space, and there's going to be a scream.
That was a good recap.
There's a bunch more else that happens there, but that's sort of the shorthand version of all the plot we just skipped. I think.
Also, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. No, that's basically, if you've ever watched me commentate or like sort of explain a speedrun, if there's anything that is sort of like way off base, I'll just be like, just don't worry about it. It's fine. It's cool. Anyway, also stuff that happened off screen for us. Rusty is now dead. The dragon ate him because the dragon thought that he was Bobbin. But it's okay. We're going to solve our problems with necromancy. We've all been there. We've all had to do this before. It's totally cool. But then we get to leave, and we get to continue sealing up the holes that exist in reality. So we kind of have to go...
Think about tears in fabric, the fabric of reality.
Yes,
bringing it back to Loom here a little bit.
Well, yeah, that is like the literal reason why the weavers have this power, is they got so good at weaving that they can weave the fabric of reality. Anyway, we're not going to help the shepherds because the shepherds were jerks, and it's faster to just not help them. So we're just going to leave them there, close up the hole. We do still have to enter all the holes in reality.
Yeah, if you thought I was a jerk to the shepherds, just wait till you see what I do to the glass blowers here in a second. Also, I hate going into this spot because it's like the camera's moving at the same time.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
Goodbye.
And yep, bye. We didn't even meet that guy in the game. We don't care. How can Bobbin walk through space? Don't worry about it. He's not even walking. He's gently floating through space. All right. So it's time for Are We Going to Get Cygna Skip? Where we skip talking to Swan Mom. You basically have to, like, the way I just do is I just am mashing escape as we approach her.
I think we're going to get a little bit of Swan Mom here.
I'm good. It depends. Sometimes I get it really good. Sometimes I don't. Let's see if we can skip it though. Come on, Swan Mom, skip.
Nah.
Just a little.
Got a little. I actually started moving through. Oh no, it moved me back. That was rude.
Yeah.
I was like all excited that I was floating across the screen because I know you normally have to float across the screen, and then it was like, nope, you can go back where you were before.
Also, Chad is correct. He's indeed bobbing through space.
Yes. Also, the
anyway,
game's almost over.
Yep. Anyway, so we met Bobbin's Swan Mom, Cygna. She explained that there's a great to terrible evil that is Chaos, who we're going to see now. Hetchel is also here. Remember, that's his grandma, who's now a swan. Don't worry about it. But we're going to go through the final confrontation pretty quickly. All the spells here are always the same, no matter which draft list you get. So,
also, grandma's roasted now. Don't worry about it.
And then she just becomes a single feather. And then we learn how to unmake the loom, which will split reality in twain.
Also, I agree. The loom is very pretty, Gale.
Yeah, the loom's actually one of my favorite things in the entire game. It's so gorgeous. I love it. Also, this is the only time we get to hear Chaos talk in the speedrun. Which is too bad, because her lines are great. She's super scary. I love her. And we get to cast the final spell.
Time. Sorry, I should have given a little more warning. That's time. Time is when you play the last note.
Oh, you were so close to a sub 26.
Yeah, I messed up that one draft, and my movement wasn't very good. But honestly, that run went really smoothly.
That was a fantastic marathon run.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bobbin has now become a swan and joined the rest of the Weavers, and they carry off half of reality. The other half remains controlled by Chaos, and that was what the games were going to be about, was restitching reality back together. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. There was a fan attempt to create Forge, which got a demo out, but it never went really anywhere beyond that, and we have no idea what would have happened in Fold, which would have been Fleece's game.
But at least we have Loom.
At least we do have Loom. Yep. And you finally get to hear some of the music, which is taken from Swan Lake. So you get to hear this beautiful sort of chiptune version of Swan Lake. And you get to see all the wonderful voice actors who were in this, especially Lauren Jones, who, like, she was in, like, a bunch of stuff, and she's fantastic in all of it. I totally do recommend going and listening to the audio drama. You can find copies of it on YouTube, and it's worth your time. It's actually really, really well done.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I just want to give a plug to this game because it's such a, like, if you are new to speedrunning or if you've never speedrun anything before, this is like a great learner game, and it teaches a lot of the basics of just how to learn a speedrun, I would say. It's also on Steam. It's super cheap, so you can check it out, and it's just a lot of fun. So
yeah,
I want to say thanks again, everybody, for watching the run. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for all of the support so far this weekend, and we got a long way to go. So we got a lot more great marathon today. We got a whole day again tomorrow. And just really appreciate y'all being here and showing us your support. So keep that up, and we're gonna have a really wonderful final number at the end of this weekend, even though the number that we have right now is already amazing. So just can't wait. Let's keep it up.
And if you're at all interested in running this game, feel free to reach out to me or to Blaze or to Lore Master Motos. The three of us are all really happy to get people into this game. And as Blaze was saying about how easy it is to learn, I literally learned this game in one afternoon at RPG Limit Break from Motos.
Yeah, but that's it. So we'll go ahead and head on out. And thanks everybody for having us.
Thank y'all.